Hi, I'm Erica Brandt with AgCareers.com, and in this series we're going to talk about managing career displacement. And yes, you can manage being let go from a job. Isn't it typical that when you meet someone new, they ask what you do? Or when you are with family and friends, they ask how work is going? Your job in some ways becomes your identity. It is no wonder that when you lose your job, there is an emotional impact and feelings of losing a part of yourself. Managing through this transition and dealing with the emotional impact will only make you a stronger and more valuable employee for your next employer. People lose their jobs for a multitude of reasons: a poor economy that forces cutbacks, industry factors such as governmental regulations, mergers, and the more negative associated reasons such as personality differences or not performing your job to company standards. If these later examples are the reasons you are displaced, you may need to really reflect on yourself to help you overcome these problems for future employers. No matter the reason, no job is ever permanent. Being prepared and approaching the situation with the right attitude will make all the difference on your outcome. Let's review 5 key points to dealing with your emotions as it relates to career transition. Keep your cool. Getting upset and blowing your lid can only hurt you at this point. Allowing yourself to stay calm can be one of the best things you can do for yourself. A previous employer or manager can assist you with locating new opportunities, and often they act as references. And keep in mind that a small percentage of people end up returning to work for an employer that has let them go. Think about your chances if you burn bridges. Stop and think. Once you've accepted the fact that you have lost your job, one way to help make the situation seem less stressful is to reflect back on other difficult situations and what helped you get through those. For example, maybe you had hoped to land a big client and something fell through. What would you do? Who would you talk with? Reflecting back and identifying what helped you resolve or deal with those situations are going to be good places to start helping you conquer finding a new job. Develop a plan. This plan should involve how to get from point A, where you are now, to point B, a new job. This plan could include things like self-assessment, which we'll cover shortly, who can help you out, time frame, and what is your plan of attack, for example. This plan does not have to be set in stone. As you go through the job searching process, reflect throughout the process on what works and what doesn't work, and change your plan accordingly. Be honest with yourself. Suddenly, being without a job sometimes makes people more desperate to take a job that maybe isn't right for them. Keep in mind that the average person spends more time doing their job than with their family. It is critical to be happy with what you are doing. Be honest with yourself and know what you can and cannot do, and don't compromise on that. Build mental toughness. Remember that rejection is just part of the process, so be prepared for it. The U.S. Department of Labor suggests that the average time to find employment is 6 months. A recent study in USA Today said 4, and I've heard statistics as low as 3 months. The key is to evaluate after about 2 months and see where you are at. If you feel you are not any closer to a position, you may want to consider a temporary position. As the panic of how will I pay my bills quickly sets in, here are a couple of items that can help you relieve that fear. If you've been laid off and possibly received a severance package, don't wait to get started on your job search. It takes time to find the right job. If your organization has not openly offered a severance package, you can ask about it and see if they would be willing to offer something. Again, this needs to be done in a calm and respectful manner. The worst they can say is no. Also know that you can go to your employer for help on managing continued health care and other benefits beyond your employment. 2 organizations you may also consider as you think about eligibility for severance package and/or unemployment insurance are the U.S. Department of Labor and in Canada, the Employment Standards Act for your province, along with the Canadian Labor Code. If we consider key point 3, develop a plan, the first thing you should do is reflect on yourself and needs. What I'm talking about here is a process to help you identify and articulate your skills and abilities. This process is a great help in building your resume and refining your job search. The first step is to identify your skills. For the sake of this course, let's talk about 3 types of skills: adaptive, transferable, and job content skills. Adaptive skills are words, typically adjectives, which you'd use to describe yourself or basic personality characteristics. For example, if I were to list some of my adaptive skills, I would list words like organized, dependable, logical, and enthusiastic. Transferable skills are skills that you've learned over time that can be transferred from one job to the next. Again, if we use me as an example, transferable skills I would list include writer, public speaker, designer, listener, and manager. Job content skills are things that you've learned on the job or through education or training. Sometimes these skills are relevant to a new job, and sometimes they aren't. Sometimes it depends on how specific you get in your phrasing. A few examples of job content skills that I would list include efficient in Microsoft Office programs, bilingual, customer management, and leadership training. As you'll see, I kept things pretty generic to make them applicable. I would suggest that you begin by making an overall list of your skills in all 3 areas, and then selecting those that you enjoy versus just possess. Those that you've selected should help you identify your area of focus for your job search and definitely be incorporated into your resume. The next part of reflecting on yourself has to do with achievements and background training. List out what those achievements are and what types of education, special courses, on-site training, and certifications you have. These 2 could be components of your resume. Finally, the last part of the assessment is to consider your ideal job. Things to factor in would be what type of responsibility level do you want? Do you need to be a manager or a vice president? Is location a factor? What type of culture or size of organization are you looking for? And of course, what type of salary do you require? When assessing this, ask yourself, what would I like to make and how much does it take to live? Know what the lowest is you can go and also what your value is in the marketplace. AgCareers.com has information that can help you, and the web is a great source for this type of information. Keep in mind to find figures specific to geographic region and industry for accurate depiction. As this is typically the hardest part of dealing with the loss of a job, here are just a few more key tips to help you get through this transition time. Be positive. Remember, this can be a great opportunity. Look at searching for a job as a job. Get up and go to work each day. Have a plan. Be patient. Remember, the process takes time. Invest a little extra time for yourself. Get a massage, eat lunch at your favorite restaurant, or play a round of golf. Do something nice for yourself to relieve the stress. Talk about your situation with others and accept help. Dealing with the emotions that go with losing your job aren't easy for anyone. Making the best of the situation is what will put you on the road to finding your next great job.